Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to HRN's Live at 5 on this Friday night. I know we usually have fewer live listeners on Friday night than we do other nights, and I got to learn to start saying viewers. I'm so used to doing podcasts. But if you are watching live, please do put in the comments where you're from. I would like to see that. And I am very festive tonight because it is my birthday, and so we're going to keep the show a little bit lighter tonight. Of course, I'm Glenn the Geek, founder of the Horse Radio Network, host of the most popular podcast in the horse world, the Daily Horses in the Morning Show, which we did this morning with some really bad ads. It was funny, entertaining. So if you're looking for a little bit of a break from all the serious stuff, tonight will be good for that, and it's going to be good for your soul tonight. And also, you can go back and take a listen to Horses in the Morning on the Horses in the Morning podcast feed. Tonight we are going a little lighter as we have speaker, author, and healer Kate Neligan on, and she's going to talk to us about how to stay calm, grounded, and connected during this bizarre time. And I actually think she watched some of my other Facebook Live at Fives, and she wrote to me and said, "Look, you're going off the deep end. You need some help." So I'm not sure if she's here for you guys or if she's here for me. I think a little bit of both. And thank you, Peggy, for the happy birthday from Loxahatchee down in southern Florida. So we're going to talk to her. She's going to have lots of good stuff to help us mellow out a bit, especially going into the weekend. I think that'll be perfect. So Monday night, we're going to be back to serious stuff again. We have Max Cochran, who is president of the United States Eventing Association. She's going to be on with us today, or on Monday night at 5 p.m., talking to us about what the eventers are up to and what their plans are. Of course, they lost their biggest weekend this weekend. No Rolex Land Rover 3-day Kentucky event, and it was very sad. Uh-oh. And also, I'm seeing Jennifer is coming in here, and look what she's brought me. Cake for my birthday. Is this one of those candles like this morning? She gave me one of those candles this morning that doesn't blow out, and it took at least 45 minutes to get the candle out this morning, so we'll try it. All right, so there's all the smoke. They're going to set up the smoke alarm here. So thank you, Jennifer, for the cake. I appreciate it. She made this cake for me, too, and she doesn't cook very often. It's going to go back on, isn't it? It is. You did it again to me, didn't you? So we're smoking up the room here. Oh, look, it is. It's back on again. I'll let you take the candle. It's Friday night. I'll take the cake, though. I'm going to eat that. Thank you. So we're glad you're all joining us for this mayhem tonight. So Max will be here, president of the United States Eventing Association, Monday night at 5 o'clock. Thank you, Kathy. Hit 'em was a lot of fun today. She actually stopped by to talk about Teddy O'Connor. If you guys remember the pony that competed back in the late 90s at Rolex, she had talked about her memories of that. It was so cool. That was at the beginning of this morning's Horses in the Morning show. If you can't watch this whole live stream video, it'll be out on podcast on the Horses in the Morning feed tomorrow morning. And, of course, the disclaimer. So the disclaimer is we are not medical or financial professionals, and we are not offering you advice in any way on what you should or shouldn't do as far as the health of your horses, your finances, or any other thing is concerned. We're just people here giving our opinion. Hi, Mona. It's good to have you here. She said it's her first one. She's here from Georgia. We also have, I don't know how to say it, Merete from Norway. I don't even know if I got close, but hello from Norway. We're glad to have you as well. So let's bring our special guest on tonight. She usually comes on our Horses in the Morning show at New Year's to talk to us about how to get ready mentally and spiritually and every other way for the new year. But she had no freaking idea this was going to happen when she came on in January. Did you, Kate?
No, definitely not.
Kate is, as I said, an author, a healer, a speaker. Her website is consciousrockstar.com, and she is also part or the founder of the Equine Rockstars group. So, wow. I mean, you came on in January, and to be honest with you, that seems like 12 years ago, and I have no idea what you even talked about. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was more tips, but and how to live a great year. So
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's been nothing anybody could have ever predicted or projected for this year. So I'm glad you reached out to me. We need to talk a little bit about, people are getting antsy now, the ones who aren't out demonstrating. Most of us horse people are still at home. And a lot of us, a lot of us can't see our horses now either, which has just got to be killing everybody who can't see their horse right about now. So what do you have to offer to help us get through it?
Yeah, thank you. And happy birthday.
Thank you. I might eat cake while you talk, actually.
I love it. Well, there was such an awesome metaphor already with your candle, which is this like the light that doesn't go out, right? And I think just metaphorically, our inner light, right? And we find so much light from our horses, but our inner light doesn't need to go out during these times. And so these are
But that's easy to say, though, Kate.
You're right. It is. And so these are really practical tips on how to get grounded, how to manage stress, manage energy, kind of inspired by the horses and what they've taught me being a coach that partners with them for life coaching and career coaching. So the first one, if you can be with your horses, is to slow everything down and just sit with them, to just be with them, journal with them. So many times it's just about riding and doing things. And right now, one of the best things is we've got to give ourselves permission to rest and to slow down when we can, to catch those moments when we can, because it's busy.
It's funny you say that because I've been doing with Scooter, my Hackney pony, I've been doing a lot more just hand grazing him because he's this big, so he doesn't get to go out in the grass, so I've been hand grazing him a lot more than I usually do. And it's been nice,
Yeah. Yeah, because most of the way horses connect is they stand around with each other and do nothing, right? And so, yeah, that's really it. And so we can really, give ourselves permission to slow down and rest. And one of the ways is to be with our horses and do that, and let them take us for a walk. So the second one is a little bit more inspired by nature, but it's to be like a tree. And honestly, I love to even just hug a tree. You can call me a tree hugger, but to get grounded, because trees are the most grounded beings on the planet, and to actually be able to connect with them, sit under them. There's a reason that horses love to rub their butts up against trees and stand underneath them. They're very calming. And, we can actually picture the lower half of our bodies getting heavier and just rooting down into the ground and feeling more grounded and more connected to the earth. Even just for a minute, that actually can help slow down the nervous system and regulate the nervous system, which is what we all need right now.
It's interesting you say that because I have friends that are podcasters in the hiking community, and they're having a really tough time too because they're where they would rather be is in the woods, right? And they can't do that right now either. Speaking of trees, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so what's so interesting is that even though if we can't get outside and be with our horses or be with trees, we can act like a horse, act like a tree on our chairs, on our couches, literally just by closing our eyes and visualizing it, visualizing tree branches coming out of our feet, visualize, sitting with our horses, even taking a picture and connecting with a horse or watching a video and connecting with the horse, you can actually start to feel just the energy of being with them. I know it's not the same as being in person. But
although a lot of our listeners that can't be with their horses right now are binging on horse movies.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And I have too. And I find that's another way of connecting with them, which I love. It's being in the spirit of that. My third favorite is breathing. And so much of us just, breath work is really powerful. Horses are always reminding us to breathe. So one of the things I've been doing on Instagram is like posting videos of me actually breathing with horses and getting people to just take a minute up to pause and slow their breath down. And if you can, when you're with your horse, go right up to their nostril and just breathe with them. It's a great connection exercise for your horse and your relationship, but to also just to slow things down. There's online breathwork classes, meditations, all of that. It's really powerful, even for just 5 minutes. So the next one is around getting more into our hearts. So a lot of what creates the spin or the anxiety or the stress is being in our heads. And so if there's an opportunity to drop into our hearts more. And there's science behind this, right? There's the Heart Math Institute. I'm actually going to be doing a Heart Math and Horses event coming up. But even just putting your hand on your heart, and if you are with your horse, putting a hand on their heart at the same time and just starting to connect the hearts, their hearts are 5 times the size of ours. So we can literally come out of this crazy making machine down into our heart, which has its own intelligence and its own rhythm, and start to feel more connected. That alone will bring people stress relief. So number 4, that was number 4. Number 5 is around mindset. And this is really a big piece, but it's role modeled from the horse, which is horses know how to let things go very quickly, right? They do not hold on and have grudges, but they love to release from pressure, as we know, right? So there's an opportunity for us to be like them and to release the pressure that we put on ourselves to be perfect, to get things right. I know a lot of people that are homeschooling, which is a full-time job, working a full-time job, and, you know, all the other roles that they have to do. And so it's a lot. And so, you know, beating yourself up for that compounds the stress. So to just give yourself that release of pressure, see what can make you lick and chew as often as possible, right? Creating a joy list and getting into that.
Cake?
Yes, cake. I know. So what's your joy list, right? And cake is I love cake, although
that's high on my joy list, by the way.
I bet. Yeah, I know. I feel you on that. And we can have our cake and eat it too, Glenn. So.
Yeah, I am. I had it for breakfast this morning, and I'm having it again tonight. So there.
Nice. Well, that's your birthday. You should.
That's right.
I love it. So yeah, those are the pieces. But it's like, if we're more like horses, they know how, you know, they're prey animals. They could be stressed out all the time, but they know how to shift so quickly, and we can learn that too, even just by watching them. But they're powerful teachers.
Well, speaking of shifting, it's an interesting be something to talk to you about. I think that would be very interesting. We've talked about, because I've been doing this now for almost 2 months, and you know, all this coverage and reading everything and I had to take a week off because it was just overload. And I think what's happened, and everybody's seen this, and I know you all have, and I'm sure you have too, every week where we are in time and in place, every week seems like a month, right? But it changes every week. So at the beginning, we were all hepped up. We were watching news 24 hours a day. We were, 2 or 3 weeks of that solid. And then it started to change. And it seems like we're going through phases, and every week is a phase. And I don't know, am I the only one seeing that?
Oh, I totally feel it. For me right now, it's every day. It's literally each day is a little different. Some days I'll feel more joy energy. Some days I'll just feel grief out of nowhere. Some days I'll feel fear, but it's like being with the fluctuation of the week theme or the day theme, and being.
Have you intentionally cut back on the amount of news?
Oh gosh, I haven't watched news in ever, honestly.
Okay.
I am one of those people that has never ever watched the news in my life. And you know what? I still know everything that's happening. If I don't,
if you're on Facebook, you certainly
do. I mean, that's still a news source. But no, it really, that's one thing that has always stressed out my nervous system so much, because I have no control over what's happening out there. I only have control over what's happening in here. So I don't watch the news, and what I do need to know does come to me. So.
Well, and I think it's interesting. I think people obviously, after 9/11 too, was the same thing. We OD'd on the news for weeks and weeks and weeks. And in that case, we were just waiting for the next thing. We were and here we were kind of doing the same thing too. But I've seen more and more people post, and I've talked to more and more people who are now saying, I check it once or twice a day, and then I'm not on it 24 hours a day anymore. And I think we have to be that way for our psyche, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We need some of that buffer and protection, because the news is designed to be sensational and dramatic. And quite frankly, I created a video channel of all uplifting content because I wanted to have something that was more positive and inspirational for people, because when we're in joy, it's just a higher energy frequency, right? And it's like, we love our horses because they hold such beautiful energy for us, but we can become more like that. But we do have to do things like, we have to cut things out that we know make us feel icky. And that's one of them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And good for you for taking time off, because that is you giving yourself permission to put you first.
Well,
critical.
I had some encouragement.
Good. There's some smart people around.
Well, and you can tell when you're in overload, right? I mean, you can tell that too, which part of it's my job, but I had to. And I've been better about taking the weekends now too,
Good. Yeah. And our work's important, but never at the expense of our health. And I think that's what we're learning right now is that we can't take our bodies and our health for granted anymore. It's critical. It's important.
Yeah. So what else?
So I think that, one of the things I'd love to share with the viewers is that when all of this happened and I couldn't bring people out to the ranch, I was a little bummed because that's my calling and my purpose is to pair horses and humans together for personal and professional growth. And I thought, if I can't do that, what can I do? And I thought I'll bring the ranch to people. So I'm doing, like, you started Facebook Live, never thought you'd be doing it. I didn't think I'd be doing Zooms from the ranch, but every Sunday I am doing an hour. It's a meditation, a wisdom sharing, similar like this, practical tips, but really inspired by nature and the horses, and people can connect with the horses right around me. I'm out in Colorado, and then we do a goat dance party because there's goats on the ranch too, and we want to make it fun. That's the whole thing, is that right now I think it's very serious times and we have a lot of that, but how can we lighten the mood? Like, you're like, let's end Friday on a good note, and I'm like, yes. So
I love that.
To share that with people.
Do you do goat yoga too?
I have done it myself. I do not lead goat yoga. I've led yoga with the horses though, which is so much fun. Yeah, horses love yoga.
I would be afraid my hackney would trample me to death. I was like, by accident, if nothing else.
Yeah, he might look at you like, what are you doing? Yeah. But yes, they're so much fun. And the goats we have like 12 babies at the ranch right now. So I've been trying to just post a lot of videos as well of that.
Where's your ranch at in Colorado?
We're near Boulder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In Longmont.
I mean, there's no not pretty part of Colorado, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah. We have views of the Rockies and it's amazing there. So.
And tell us a little bit about your horses.
So I am one of those people that I currently don't own horses, but I work with a woman's horses who owns the ranch. And so there's 4 there, and there's a mini donkey named Sweetness who everyone on Instagram's in love with him. And then I do own goats. So I board my goats there, and they are 1-year-old. I
don't think I've ever heard that term before.
I boarded
goats.
No, yes. I didn't know it existed either. Yeah. And they're like, it's the funniest thing. I never thought I'd have goats, but I feel like I have like a partial part of a farm life because I go and I see them, but I'm getting a horse when all of this thing ends. So it was supposed to happen. And then all of this, we went into quarantine. So
I wanted to ask you too, you mentioned right before we started that you have a Facebook group called Equine Rockstars. What's that about?
Yeah, so the intention with that, I'm in so many horse groups, but there's a lot of people talking either just about equestrian or there's some judgment I've seen in the horse space.
No, not really. No,
just a little bit.
That doesn't exist.
Just a little bit. And so this group's intention is really positive, inspirational. So today it was Feel Good Friday, and I shared a story of a woman who her life was saved after she lost her son 10 years ago. She got this beautiful horse, and she's walking him outside of senior centers right now to bring joy to people because they'd rather see a horse than a human with a mask. So I posted that video and that story. I try to share positive news, articles and research on equine therapy and equine coaching because that's my world. So yeah, we'd love to have more people there, but we do keep it positive. We really are supportive.
So is it a closed group?
No, it's a public group, but we'd love more people to join us.
And it's called Equine Rockstars?
Yes, on Facebook.
Good. And I'm glad you police it because, we have a group of auditors or super fans who some of them are commenting here. And that's the way that group is. But they've created that atmosphere, and I think that it has to come from that place.
Yes.
Yeah. So negative people kind of feel like they don't belong.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's why the group size is probably a little smaller than a lot of other groups. We're just under 1,000 right now. We'd love to get to 1,000, but it's because there's a lot of like-minded and like-hearted individuals that, some of them don't ride, but we very much care about the welfare of the horse. We're not obnoxious about it, but it's a smaller group because it's very high vibe. So,
and it's called Equine Rockstars. They just search for that on Facebook.
Awesome.
And they can go over there and join. And you're at consciousrockstar.com, right? That's your website?
Yeah, and then you can learn more about me there. And I do travel to people's ranches as well. I go back to Los Angeles frequently to see clients too.
And when is your Sunday thing with the goats?
Sunday is noon Mountain Standard Time. So
2 Eastern?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm happy to share a link for that too.
Yeah, if you could put it in the comments when we're done, that would be great. Yeah, put the link there, and that would be terrific. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out. I'm always looking for different kind of lighter things to do on Fridays. So this has been great, and I hope we all go into the weekend. Again, we're all in a different place every day, it seems like. So I hope we all go into the weekend. I know I'm going in a little better off than I did last weekend, mentally and emotionally and physically and everything else. So I hope everybody does that. I hope you do get to see your horses, and those that aren't seeing their horses, maybe soon. Maybe in the next couple of weeks to a month, you'll be out seeing your horses, and then you could do all those things. You can hang out with them. You can do yoga with them. You can breathe with them. All of those things. You can touch your horse. All of that stuff. Well, thank you, Kate. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Have a great weekend, Glenn.
Everybody have a terrific weekend. We'll see you Monday morning for Horses in the Morning, and then I'll be back with Max for HRN Live at 5 on Monday. Thanks, everybody.